From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Tuesday the 7th of June 2022. Good afternoon. Today we'll be discussing some of the biggest stories, including the Polish pregnancy register and the seizure of Abramovich's planes. We'll also be answering today's big question: has the SNP's minimum pricing policy failed? As well as discussing whether Prime Minister Johnson is finished. But first, another offensive in Severodonetsk. Ukraine's counterattack in Severodonetsk took a turn for the worse early this morning, as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky talked of intense street fighting in the city. In fact, conflict in Severodonetsk and its neighbouring city Lysychansk had rendered them, in the president's own words, dead cities. This comes as Russian forces slowly move forwards in Severodonetsk, outnumbering Ukraine's resistance. Luhansk's governor, who previously claimed Ukraine had taken back control of the whole city, bar the eastern outskirts, admitted yesterday that the situation had deteriorated significantly. As confirmed by a journalist who said Ukraine only controlled the industrial sector in western Severodonetsk. Nonetheless, Zelensky held a positive stance in his latest national address, maintaining that Ukrainian Donbass stands firmly on day 104 of the Russian invasion. He also briefly celebrated Ukrainian Journalists' Day before launching a plea to the world's media to maintain attention on the war. Last night, Conservative MPs decided whether they wanted Boris Johnson to remain their leader, and as a result, Prime Minister of the UK. We released a full video explaining this earlier today, but in summary, Johnson won. Of the 359 Tory MPs, 211 voted that they have confidence in him, and 148 voted that they do not have confidence. The key threshold for the rebels was 180. If they had reached this number, Johnson's premiership would be at its end. On the surface, things may look good for Johnson right now. The rebels now cannot call a similar vote for a year, giving him 12 months of immunity. The thing is, though, Johnson won the vote by a much smaller margin than he would have liked. More than 40% of the party now don't want him as leader, something that'll make leading a lot more difficult for him going forward. There's more on the way, but be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to make the daily briefing part of your daily routine. Or just search for us on your podcast app to listen along. Staying on the topic of no confidence votes, yesterday a no confidence vote was launched in the European Commission. 3 senior MEPs, including former Belgian Prime Minister Guy Verhofstadt, announced that they would set the ball rolling on a vote after the Commission approved Poland's €35.4 billion recovery plan last week. The Commission had initially blocked payment to Poland over rule of law failings, specifically the creation of a new disciplinary chamber for judges. Poland has agreed to make partial changes, including dismantling the chamber, prompting the Commission to greenlight the plan. But critics see the changes as cosmetic. And so, a motion of no confidence has been introduced over the Commission's failing to seriously apply the new rule of law conditionality mechanism. Under the EU's treaties, if a 2/3 majority of MEPs back the motion, the Commission as a whole must resign. Staying on the topic of Poland, it has been reported today that there is a new provision to require doctors to record each pregnancy. Specifically, the new measure would allow the Polish prosecutor's office to access the list. This has been dubbed a pregnancy register by those who oppose it, with a Liberal MP saying it could persecute and control Polish women. This is basically just the next step from a government determined to come down hard on abortion, with them previously enacting a near-total abortion ban. In 2020, the Polish government only allowed women to seek an abortion if there is a serious risk to the mother's health, or if the child was conceived through rape or incest. Opposition lawmakers have also referred to this new measure as simply a new tool of repression by the government. In the last story today, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner and a Gulfstream G650ER were claimed from ex-owner of Chelsea Football Club Roman Abramovich yesterday, as a federal judge issued a warrant for the seizure of both planes. The planes, worth approximately £410 million combined, violated recent export restrictions placed on Russia by the US, which forbids the re-export of US-manufactured aircraft on Russia without a BIS license or license exception. Indeed, the Boeing was flown to Russia on the 4th of March, and so too was the Gulfstream on the 12th and the 15th. That being said, it's still unsure whether or not the US will actually be able to seize these planes. As it stands, the Boeing currently resides in Russia, and the Gulfstream is still in Russia, but a Department of Justice official declined to answer whether or not they knew the jet's exact location. That's all we have time for on YouTube today, but if you want more, including answering today's big question, has the S&P's minimum pricing policy failed, and our discussion about whether the vote of no confidence means that Johnson is finished, then watch the extended edition of the Daily Briefing over on Nebula. Nebula subscribers not only get everything you've already watched ad-free, but also an extended edition of the show every single day, available to watch on Nebula or stream on your podcast app of choice. So if you want to support the channel and get a more extensive daily briefing every day, you'll want to sign up. And there's good news. Our friends at CuriosityStream, the streaming service which offers some of the best documentaries, is offering a deal whereby you can get both platforms, CuriosityStream and Nebula, for less than $15 a year. That's all the best documentaries you could want on CuriosityStream, and then more TLDR on Nebula, including the extended briefing, other full exclusive TLDR videos, and it's always ad-free. Click the link below to get both services for less than $15 a year and support the channel.